Welcome to the first of many videos concerning composition that will be featured on my channel. My name is Timothy Reese, and I've worked in the television, film, and photography world as a director of photography and a photographer for nearly 20 years. Check out my videos as we cover not only the how, but also the why of various technical and creative techniques used in the creation of real images. It's important that you understand what certain shots are called so that you can visualize the frame size someone might be asking for. If you're working as a director of photography, you want to be able to communicate to your camera crew the shot size that you're looking for. Likewise, if you're working as a camera operator, you want to be able to understand what your director of photography is asking you for. And finally, if you're working as a director, it's important to be able to speak the same language between you and your DP so that you are all on the same page. Shot size plays a pivotal role in multiple factors, not only for the emotional response that a certain frame size might trigger, but also for practical logistic reasons and to ensure that your cuts are smooth when you get into the edit. Composition is fundamental to image creation for both video and photography, and hence can't be covered briefly in only one video, so today we're going to focus solely on individual portrait sizes, shots that contain an individual subject or an actor. Let's start out with the extreme wide shot. This one is pretty simple and is usually used to show scale. Long shots and wide shots begin to make your subject the focus of attention, but are still wide enough to show scope and the environment. These types of shots can also help show isolation if the character is alone in the environment. Long shots are not typically made with long lenses, so don't confuse the terms. However, long lenses can be chosen if you want to achieve a wide shot with lots of visual compression. Just make sure you have plenty of room to back up to get everything in the frame. Full shots are when the composition terms really start to focus on your subject and their size within the frame. A full shot, also called a head-to-toe, will show your subject as it says, from head to toe, while also being wide enough to continue to showcase their environment as well. As we move into tighter framing, it's important to remember to give your subject adequate headroom. I usually don't place a subject's head any closer or farther away than 10 to 20% from the top of the frame, but this position can fluctuate depending on the size of the frame. Just remember, in most cases, not to cut anyone's head off. I know, that sounds rudimentary, but headroom is something many people have a specific preference for, and you shouldn't be surprised if you hear the director or the DP frequently ask for more or less of it. A medium wide shot, sometimes referred to as a medium long shot, is going to cut your subject off at right about the knees. Now, fundamentally, I have an issue with this exact frame size because as a general rule, it's important not to cut off your frame at any of your subject's joints. This can create a subconscious feeling of amputation. As crazy as that might sound, it's true. So whenever possible, as we move towards tighter framing, keep that in mind. Watch where your knees, elbows, and wrists fall within your frame. It's because of this I prefer a slightly tighter version of the medium wide shot called the cowboy. The cowboy is just slightly tighter than a medium wide shot and gets its name after the framing of cowboys in Western films. Just imagine that your subject is wearing their gun belt and you want to be able to see the holsters hanging around their waist. Not surprisingly, this shot can also be referred to as an American shot. The medium shot is going to move in tighter and features roughly the upper torso of your subject. This is a very common frame size as it provides general coverage of our character or subject without creating any specific emotional responses to the viewer. Things are going to start to get more intense with the medium close-up. We are now really focused on our character with only a little bit of our environment in the background of our shot. Anything tighter than this can get a lot more emotional and needs to be used with care. Speaking of which, here is the frame size of the close-up, where all we see is the character's face. Be careful with this frame size though, so that you always give the jaw at the bottom of the frame room to move for spoken dialogue. Ideally, you don't want to cut off the frame too deeply into the chin or too close to the mouth. Because of this, you might want to give your subject a haircut. Now, this simply means that you can cut off the top of their head in the frame to allow for all that important jaw room. Lastly, we have the extreme close-up. This can typically be seen as an ECU of someone's eyes. It's a powerful shot that draws attention to itself, so use it sparingly. Anything tighter than this, and we're probably pulling out a macro lens. Well, that sums up frame sizes as they relate to people, but there are so many more interesting discussions we will continue to have about composition basics and advanced techniques, so I encourage you to continue watching and learning. If you like these videos, please subscribe, and feel free to leave a comment about a future video you might want me to make. This user feedback really helps me see what users are looking for and ensures I can continue to make helpful and educational videos. Until next time, thanks for watching.